Dragons. I'm back to do sort of a different video, and I've seen a couple of people do this. I've seen Lacey Book Lovers do it. I will link her channel below. She did it for pink books, and I've also seen Poor Paws in a Book do it. She's did it for like her TBR books. I think she's done red and pink. So I'm going to do it, and this really wasn't planned, but I just realized that I had read a lot of them. So I'm going to give you guys reviews of some of the blue books I read in the month of July, and I read quite a few. Blue's my favorite color, and ironically I'm on a reading competition next month that I have to read more blue books, so maybe you'll get like a sequel of this in August. I don't know, we'll see. But I just want to go through the books that I read, my reviews, and what I thought about them, and yeah, so let's get into it. First book I read was early in the month. I was on a blog tour for it, and it was Borrow Your Heart from Casey West. I will attach a photo here. This is her newest release. It's a YA contemporary, and overall I gave it 4 stars, so let's get into it. I did like this book. I don't think I loved it as much as I've loved like her previous books, Some Places We've Always Been, but this is a fake dating romance with sort of a twist, I'll say. But you basically follow this character, and she's dealing with a lot. Like, her home life isn't the best. She doesn't really talk to her mom. She lives with her dad and her sister, and her mom kind of left her when she was younger, and she's really like she has like a lot of trust issues. And she goes to this coffee shop, and she sees that this guy is basically getting catfished, and his friend is recording it, and she doesn't want him to be embarrassed, so she says that she's his date and they went up fake dating, but only she knows that like she's fake dating him, because he thinks that she really is. It was a fun read. It was very, very cute. Casey West in the recent years has kind of always added a more complicated topic to her reads. I think this is going to be a companion series, so we will see the side characters, and I really did like the side characters, and I gave it 4 stars. It was a fun read. It had an animal shelter at the heart of it, and there was a lot of animals involved, and I just thought it was like very, very cute. I really, really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. If you're looking for a fun, quick read that has animals, I would definitely check this one out. If you liked Morgan Matson's The Unexpected Everything that had like a big dog element, I think you like this one as well. The next book that I read in chronological order was an adult romance, which I don't normally read. It was actually my first nanny romance that I ever read, and I got this recommendation from Madison Fox. I will try to link her below as well if I can remember. I'm going to be linking a bunch of people. Like, I'll link 2 people I mentioned at the start of this video, but I'll link her below as well. She gave me this rec, and I had to read it. I just thought it was fun. So I gave this book 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I always say steamy books are not for me. It's just, I get a bit bored. But I did like overall this book, so that's why I gave it 4.5 stars. And here's a photo, and then we can get into it. So this book follows the main character. I am so bad with names, I'll be so honest. But you follow this main character, and she's all set to get married. It's like the day of her wedding, and her fiance sends her a text message that is clearly not to her about what happened last night. So it's clear he's cheated on her and has been having an affair with his secretary this whole time. And she's like, very obviously, you would be upset. You'd be like outraged. I remember watching Madison explain it, and I just like had to go read it based on her video. I'll try to link her video below if I can remember, but I'll definitely link her. She's great. She's very, very funny. But so she calls off the wedding, and she's kind of stuck because he kind of did everything for her. He was in charge of everything, and he very much like isolated her, to make her be like very dependent on him. So she's in this small town, and she kind of sees that someone's looking for a nanny, and she's still in her wedding dress, and she kind of goes to this guy who's working and says, "Can I be your nanny?" She's still in her wedding dress, and he's like, "No, you cannot be my nanny. I do not trust you around my kids. Get out of here." But, you know, he slowly warms up to her, and they're twins, and oh my god, it was so sweet. I love books where like the nanny has a relationship with the kids, and I feel like the kids had a really big part of this story. I read another one later this month, Heartless by Elsie Silver, and it was very, very similar, but the kids I felt like had a really good heart of this, and it felt to me like it was like supposed to be taboo because like you're not supposed to date the nanny, but it wasn't really taboo because like they could have just dated and it would have been fine, but in their heads they couldn't do it. The side characters were great. It's like building up like a small town romance, which I love. I always look for a small town romance that reminds me of Gilmore Girl vibes, because that's like my dream, to go live in Stars Hollow. And it gave me somewhat Gilmore Girls vibes. But it was very, very steamy, I will say that. So that was the only thing that kind of lost me at points, but I really, really liked it. I want to read the sequel when it comes out, so I gave this book 4.5 stars and I really enjoyed it. And I definitely think you should check it out if you like natty romances, because this one was very, very fun and very, very summery as well, because it takes place in the summer. I actually have a physical copy of this, and I read this right when I got back from ALA because I actually got like a couple of copies of it, but I read The Spirit Glass by Ronnie Choshky, and I gave this 5 stars. Like, I love this book. It was in my June wrap up, but I was like, I'm gonna do this vlog, so I'll talk more about it. But this is her first standalone book, and it follows the other half of her national heritage, so it follows Filipino mythology, and I really, really like this book. It gave me Encanto vibes because the house is very big a personality in the first half of this book, but you follow this character named Corazon, I'll call her Cora, and she is going to be, what is it? She's got, her magic is going to wake, and she's going to be like this ambitious person. And when your magic wakes, you kind of can commune with the dead. And her parents died a couple of years ago, and her parents come to see her every single Sunday, and she thinks that when her powers awake, she can sort of bring her parents back from the dead, and she can have a relationship with them. But something goes wrong when her key goes missing, and she has to go on a quest with her partner in crime, her pet lizard, who was adorable as like a character, and a ghost from the another world to kind of go on an adventure. And I loved it. I think I liked the first half of this book a bit more, but the quest was really fun. There was also elements where you got history like of the past, and there was a shocking twist at the end that I didn't see coming. And then mirrors are portals in this world, so like they can, if you go through a mirror, you kind of go somewhere else. And every couple of chapters there's like a mirror chapter or a mirror section where you kind of see the world through the mirror's eyes. And I love the Filipino mythology. I don't know anything about that, so kind of it was very much like when I read the first Percy Jackson book, and there was a lot of myth telling to me, and I think Ronnie Choshky did such a good job of that. So I definitely recommend you check this out. It doesn't come out until September, but I really, really enjoyed this one, and I gave it 5 stars. I am so impressed with the Rick Riordan Presents series, and this one is just another one that just really, really worked for me. The last 2 books I'm going to talk about in this video are YA books that are not quite out yet. One is Bring Me Your Midnights by Rachel Griffins. This comes out, I think, the end of August, I think. But I have read her previous books, really enjoyed them, and this was another 5-star read for me. Very different from her other book, but I did like this one. And I'll touch a photo and then we'll chat about it. This is her 3rd book, and this is another standalone, and I like that she writes standalones because you don't ever get that in like YA. You always get series or duologies, so it's nice to have a complete story. She, as Rachel Griffin, always kind of tackles harder topics, especially a lot of nature elements. Her first 2 books were a lot of nature related, but you basically follow the society where they have bad magic and good magic, and the bad magic is just a higher version of it, and the good magic is like a lighter version of it. But the problem with their magic is that at the end of like a month or one day of a month, you have to release your magic into the water because they live on an island, and the other people, like the non-magic people, they live on the mainland, and when they release their magic into the water, it kind of causes some global warming effects, and it starts to get a bit dangerous. So she's basically, our main character is going to be married to the mayor's son, and that's going to be like an alliance between them, and they have to keep kind of doing their magic that way, so no one is fearful of them. But when she accidentally misses her releasing day, like she can't release her magic, things kind of get a little bit dangerous, and she has to team up with a young boy from the darker coven to kind of release her magic in a safe way so she is not killed. And it's very, very interesting. There was a lot of like political undermining in the story. It was a very, very beautiful seaside setting. I think it would be great for late summer, early fall, and I really did like it. I'm not always the biggest fan of like hate to more or like when you meet a character at the start of a story, because I need a bit of background, but this story did work for me. I gave it 5 stars, and I love the nature elements. I think the other 2 were a lot more nature focused, but I did like the setting of this one. The setting of this book reminded me a lot of Houses of Salt and Sorrow and like the seaside town that we were in, but I did enjoy it. Gave it 5 stars. Would definitely read more by this author in the future. This book that I'm going to chat about in this video is The Third Daughter by Adrienne Tooley. I will attach a photo here, but I gave this book 4 stars. So we will chat about why, and yeah, but 4 stars, still a really, really good read, but let's take a peek at this beautiful blue cover. Tuli's third book. This is her first book that's going to kick off a series. It's the second book, I think, called Is the Second Son. But you basically follow this character, and this does have a lot of depression and anxiety rep, like a ton. But basically this character has magic, and whenever she cries, that can kind of enhance her family's potions. And her family is dealing with her dad's in jail, I think, and they don't have a ton of money because her dad gambled it all away. So they really use her tears to kind of enhance their powers. And that's one point of view. And then the other point of view character is the princess. And she was supposed to be the regent of this country, but then her baby sister was born. And her baby sister is known as the third daughter. And every third daughter always rules. And her baby sister was basically like revealed to be that. So she kind of got sacked out. Her mother died, and the younger sister, Brianna, her dad is like a religious leader, and he is very much like, I'm going to use my daughter as a puppet, and I'm going to like rule in her hest. And her older sister is not happy about that. So her older sister decides that she's going to put her to sleep. So when she rules when she's 18, she can like take the rules and be that. Things don't go exactly according to plan when she takes a potion and her sister gets put to sleep, and things don't go according to plan. So these two characters who don't necessarily like each other, don't necessarily trust each other, have to team up to make things work. And I really, really enjoyed it. I think the first half of the book was a little bit slow for me, and I liked both characters, but I didn't feel as connected to either of them as I had to her previous books. But once we got to the end and a lot of stuff starting to getting revealed, I really did enjoy it. And I think it set up book 2 like really effectively. So I'm excited to read book 2 as well. Or read more books in the series, but this book didn't hit as much as her other ones. There was also a very, very LGBTQ plus element in the story, and also it's very, very slow burn. So if you don't like slow burn, I don't think you're gonna like this one because it's so slow burn. But I, as a slow burn reader, really enjoyed it. If I had to pick a favorite out of this whole vlog, I would probably say The Spirit Glass was probably my favorite, and my favorite YA book was probably Bring Me Your Midnights. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you want me to do this again with another color or like another concept, because I thought this one was really, really fun. I don't ever do pure reviews on my channel, but I do want to try doing that more. So if you have a color for me, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll do it in the next couple of months. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon for another video. Bye.